the elections. And it's a strong argument against federal takeover of our elections. I mean, if Donald Trump was in charge of our elections right now, he would put Chris Kobach in charge of that department, and we would have Texas nationwide. On the other hand, we've got this problem where, in California, we've got a great voting system. In Oregon, Washington State, good, clean, nice voting systems work great. And in Texas, you're all screwed up. So what do we do?
As usual, Thom Hartmann fucks up a normal, average argument, right? Because what the caller, who you didn't hear, was asking was, why don't we have a system that regulates these regulates the elections, all elections? And it's a perfectly plausible argument. What Tom's bringing up could easily be, I mean, you're never going to keep people from trying to corrupt a good thing, but if you had, and you do have regulatory agencies, federal agencies, and all you have to do is make sure that, which we've never done in the history of human beings, but there's always a first time. Have a regulatory body that that projects a body of law that requires that state elections be done in such a way that they encourage people to vote and make it easy for people to vote. And that certainly can be done. I mean, you can write a bunch of federal laws stating that every American, and I think they already exist, so there's the question right there, why don't they work? Well, the reason that they don't work is because the states are allowed to let people within their state break those laws, right? I mean, if the Fed says, well, all you need is a driver's license or state ID when you walk up to that polling place, and maybe they can have their own copy of that and compare the picture. I mean, because it's not like there's never been a fake ID in history, right? But anyway, whatever you do, so if I live in Dallas, Texas, I should be able to walk into my polling place if I'm there, and there shouldn't be any argument about whether I'm allowed to vote or not. I mean, unless and I don't agree with free people being allowed to, with free people being barred from voting. That's just not, if you're not in jail, if you're not sitting in jail, and I don't know why you can't vote from jail. It's what all of this stuff is about, these shows, these segments that talk about this, is about the fact that there's a certain group of people who will do anything to win, and that includes taking away our rights, right? And that happens, that's a general kind of thing. I mean, they pursue winning in a multitude of areas to the point where they don't care who they hurt, right? Well, I say that we can. We've tried very often, and it just seems to get corrupted every time, whether it's the Constitution or a law for spitting on the sidewalk or something. And you know what? All of these things can be figured out pretty easily. It's not like there's some kind of Mount Everest of logic involved in deciding whether you want to allow people to, leave gum on the sidewalk or something. I mean, that's pretty easy. Or poop let their dogs poop where the kids play, in the playground. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery, right? It doesn't take an super genius to figure it out. I mean, most of us, a lot of people say, well, you know it when you see it. And that's how simple a lot of this stuff is. Should John A. Public be able to walk into his local polling place where he goes to vote and cast his vote without some asshole standing there going, wait a minute, I don't know that yeah, they should. There shouldn't be anybody allowed to do that. Our system should be set up so that, if you're not as an American citizen, you shouldn't be able to vote. I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Pretty easy to do. Just, I hate to say this because some of my best friends are Republicans, but they like to confuse the matter, They like to make it as difficult to understand with lies and bullshit. What is that saying? If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, then baffle them with bullshit.